Hi everybody! So this week I'm going to be doing a Batman cake. It's my nephew's birthday and he absolutely loves Batman. He's obsessed with Batman, everything. So I really wanted to do a Batman themed cake. So I decided to choose this kind of theme, which is like the action figure on top of the cake. So that way he has the action figure to like save and play with for the rest of the years and everything. So let me show you how to make it.
In order for my Batman to stand up properly in the cake, I rolled out some black fondant and cut out a disc and then stuck him into the fondant. I let that dry for about a week so that way it'll sit on top of the cake. I'll leave a link in my description below for these templates. You're going to want to cut out the oval shape of the template, roll out some yellow fondant, and then cut that out. And there's a large Batman symbol and a small Batman symbol. Once you're done cutting out the yellow ovals, you want to cut out the actual black part of the Batman symbol. Roll out some black fondant and then you want to cut out the Batman. It's going to be a little bit rough and that's okay. You can just cut off any excesses and then just smooth it around with your fingers to make sure it's all nice and smooth. Now just using a little bit of water, I'm going to stick my Batman symbol onto my oval for both my big one and my small one. Now I'm just creating this almost L-shaped piece of fondant that's going to sit on top of my cake. Just a little bit support for my symbol. Now I'm just rolling out some black fondant, it's about this thick. And I'm going to cut out different random shapes for the houses. Some can be rectangles, some can be more like a house shape, some skinny, some fat. You just want lots of different shapes and you can set those aside for another week just to dry and harden up properly. And now I'm just getting ready to stack my cake and adding buttercream in between all the layers. And I'm going to use a dark kind of navy buttercream icing just to look like kind of the night sky. I've crumb coated that, stuck that in the freezer for about 10 minutes, put a final coat on, and then again stuck in the freezer for about 10 minutes. And now I'm just smoothing it out with some parchment paper. Make sure it's nice and smooth. Now I'm just cutting the dowels to size so that way I can stack and tier my cake. Making sure there's no dust or anything on my dowels. I'm just going to wash them off. And I've already iced my second layer. And just going to stick a long dowel in between so that way my top cake doesn't kind of fall off. Now this is supposed to be like a giant beam of light. So I'm just rolling out some yellow fondant and cutting it into a very long triangle shape. And I'm just going to use some water and then drape that onto my cake. You just want to make sure that you're pushing it down so that way it's actually stuck properly to the cake when you put it on. And then I'm just going to cut off the excess. And I'm just piping a border, just using a number 5 round tip going around the cake. Now I'm just cutting out these little squares, which are going to be my lights in my buildings, and using a little bit of water and just randomly adding the little squares all over it. Using some buttercream icing, I'm just putting it on the back of my house and then sticking it to my cake. And as you can see, I'm using lots of different sizes and shapes of houses. And they're different widths and thicknesses and heights just to give it that extra dimension. And you're going to want to make extra of these, so that way you know you have enough to go around your whole cake. I'm just going to use some water for my bigger Batman symbol. Now, I made mine a little bit too heavy, so I am going to use toothpicks to help hold it in place. Normally, I don't like using toothpicks in my cake, but mine was very heavy, so I was scared that it might have fallen off. So I recommend you doing a much thinner, more delicate Batman symbol, so that way you don't have this problem. And I'm ready to stick my Batman right on my cake.
Was a huge hit with the kids. My nephew saw it and he didn't really know that it was a cake. He was looking at it and just went right for the action figure before we can even sing him happy birthday. Grabbed the action figure off that and was looking at that, and then went in like Godzilla and took a big bite out of one of the buildings. It was really funny. Oh, and then took the little N off of his name and ate that, so it changed his name. So it was really funny when we were doing the birthday and looking at the cake and everything. So there's just like bites missing from buildings and everything, no action figure. Anyways, I hope that you guys really enjoyed the video, and I hope that you guys learned lots. Have fun making your own Batman themed cake, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.